Howdy there, nerds. So, we're about to talk about something that I've noticed for at least the last month or two, and I just wanted to talk about it and see if anyone else kind of felt the same way, because honestly, I'm a little worried that I'm the only one thinking this, but I don't know. That's why I'm posing this question to you. Consider this kind of like a survey in a way. If you guys can answer some of these questions, or at least give me your thoughts on things, I would love to hear it. So we're going to be talking about Fire Emblem Heroes, the current goings-ons, and kind of everything in between, so alright. Before we begin, I do have to say that there are a lot of positives with this as well, so I just want to say that Intelligent Systems does a great job, but I kind of feel like last update really kind of, I wouldn't say proves the point, but makes an example, in a way. IS is really great at creating quality of life changes. That means things that weren't there before, but are there now, and have, revolutionized the game enough to change the way we play it. To give you an example from 2.9, of course, we got refines for some characters who were really quite amazing, and now, of course, they are even better for it. And we had things like combat manuals, which are just amazing. Just great stuff. Really great stuff. Clears up the barracks, makes things a lot easier to deal with. Then, this update, we're going to be getting a new light version that will really clear up the space on our phones and make it a lot more accessible to play this game. But quality of life is one thing. The other thing that we do need to at least continue to play is content that is worthwhile. And I'll admit, 2.9 kind of gave a good example of what's been happening recently with Heroes. We have great quality of life changes, but then we have things like relay defense. And relay defense, I'm not going to mince words. I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it from the moment I picked it up to the moment I put it down. I may have had a little bit of fun with some of it, but it kind of just, it got to me in a way, because it felt a lot more like it was just trying to be rival domains, but draining a lot of the fun that came from rival domains and putting it into this defensive tile set that just randomly changes units, and it just does not feel like you have any control over it. It does not feel like you have very much fun with it. And oftentimes, especially when you got past into the later maps, it kind of felt unfair in how it handled itself. And that's kind of how I felt about it for a little while, and I'm still kind of debating it in my head if it was really worthwhile. Relay defense, I don't know if it's really worth the frustration for the rewards that they have, and that was the bigger problem with that. Am I alone on this, or do you guys, how do you feel about relay defense is, well, the simple question I can really make for you. That will be the first question for the survey, I guess. The next portion, I would say, is actually based towards the other in-game mode that oftentimes is the big draw for this game right now, at least when it comes to touting out your units and trying them out. Arena. And Arena for me has always kind of been a love-hate relationship. Like 2 or 3 months ago, I was actually going to become more active in it. I was really trying very hard to get myself up to the higher tiers, and then I eventually fell off again with what I was doing, and that's partly because, well, they made some changes that I don't necessarily agree with. Right now with Arena, we're always going to be having this BST issue, and this is something that's always been a hot topic for a lot of what's going on in Heroes, is the fact that Arena never seems to really fix itself, or that there is no real fix for what is going on, because armors, of course, are going to be the top-rated units, and they're still going to be the top scoring. That was just kind of the issue. Well, I still tried very hard, and I was still working on a lot of things, but the biggest changes, ironically enough, that really killed it for me were not necessarily armored units or anything like that. What killed it for me, funny enough, were bonus units. Yes, bonus units. Of all things, Arena's always kind of been this fun little thing where you're supposed to make your really beefed up team. You're supposed to be really proud of the team you make, and you're going to take them into Arena, you're going to fight with them. And bonus units were the kind of advertisement for what was going on right now. The banner units, or they were meant to be, just this kind of way to make a team based around a character you may have that's a bonus unit and make it work. It was kind of fun and exciting and interesting. However, things quickly changed from that. Eventually we got things like, oh, here's a Tempest Trial bonus for using these characters in this battle. And then eventually we got the worst one, which for me was something quite small, but it's quickly grown exponentially. That, of course, is you get additional points for killing enemies with that bonus unit. And while that looks great on paper and it seems like a really cool thing to have, the problem became, now you have to use that unit to kill them. They are the precious child. You have to make sure they're safe. You have to protect them at all costs. And even more so, if you can, use chip damage and try to make sure that unit gets all the kills they possibly can in a single round. And so help you if you miss one or something goes awry. It became less of a game about trying to make the units that you enjoy and trying to make a team based maybe on a unit that you weren't so certain of, but you could probably do well with. And it quickly became a game of just making sure you get as many points as possible, and that requires a lot of work. And it just did not work out for me, and I just could not find the enjoyment in that. And then fast forward to, I'd say, about, trying to think, was it September 20th those were really announced and released, but the Muspell banner. More in particular to those two abilities that came from those two characters, Hellbindi and Lady Arm. And, well, I'm not so sure how I feel about it, because on this end of this situation, I'm really contemplating how exactly this is meant to fix any sort of problem with Arena. Because now we have these skills that will raise the BST of a unit to 170, which is just about the level of an average armored unit. To give you an example, Axura, Performing Arts Azura, that has 149 BST naturally. If you were to equip that in her A slot, she will now become 170 when it comes to scoring in Arena. And for the most part, that's fine. That means more variation, more changes to Arena, more units that we're going to be using, right? Well, not so much. You see, in truth, with Heroes and how this is managing it, it feels more like a simple band-aid to try to fix a situation that is a lot more robust and needs a lot more attention than what it's receiving. Instead, what we get is a band-aid fix that does not really address the issues. And not only that, but we're also getting a band-aid fix that is now something we have to pay for. We're getting 2 units. We already have these 2 units who are most likely going to be stuck behind a 5-star wall with 2 skills that could be quite acceptable to a lot of units, and you're going to have to pay for them. Which basically boils down to paying for a skill simply so you can use a character you may enjoy a lot more, in Arena so they can actually average about the same amount of the higher tier units. It's not a bad system, it's not a bad idea, but sticking them on a 5-star only unit is going to be something that we're probably going to see a lot of. And I'm saying this because look at them. Look at these options that we have available, and you'll realize that there's a lot more. Not only are they divided by color, they're also divided by movement type, which means in total, we're going to get 16 of these skills, and with those units, they are going to be spread out throughout the year. They may even be spread out into seasonal variants, which means that once those, seasonal banners end, your attempt to get one of these skills to use in Arena may very well have dried up. And I don't really enjoy this. This is coming from someone who finds Valor skills to be incredibly annoying as an option, and should probably be something a little bit more freely accessible, is what I'm trying to say. Because I get the concept behind this. You want to push these units who previously did not have the ability to score as well up towards the top, but instead, what it feels like more or less is instead you're giving this to the units, or at least the players, who happen to have the money to do so. So instead of wailing just to get a powerful unit, we're now wailing to try and use a unit that we enjoy in Arena. It's kind of weird. And well, that's kind of the reason why I'm here even talking about this, because I just want to know if I'm the only one, if I'm insane when it comes to this. Is it just something that happened, or has it been that content when it comes in the last month or so has been a little bit frustrating, to say the least? And I'm not even talking about Abyssal, because I find Abyssal to be not so imposing because it's just something that's optional. It gives you a golden accessory, sure. However, I don't feel that should be the quote-unquote content that is, inherently pushed out. Instead, I'm worried about the future when it comes to this kind of stuff. Can we actually turn it around? I'm not sure, but the survey questions, I guess, in the long run are, how do you feel about the recent updates? Do you enjoy Relay Defense? How do you feel about Arena? Has it slowly dwindled as much as I think it has, or am I insane? And third, what would you suggest for a fix? Changes like that. I would always love to hear it. I'm kind of worried about Heroes. I'm kind of worried about how they're handling the content lately. I'm a little bit concerned. That's pretty much all I can really think about. Relay Defense was a bust. Arena's starting to feel a little bit less steady than what it used to be. And, well, all we've gotten are abyssal modes. So I'm just not sure where we're going from here. I would love to hear your input, though. See you nerds later. Thanks for watching.